it works. It really, 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 really works. And yeah, I'm not telling you what to do, but it freaking works for me. And if you want to give it a try, it's as simple as... Welcome back. Day 16 of posting a YouTube video every single day until I stop. Today's video, I want to talk about habit stacking. And it is a concept that I learned about while reading the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. Fantastic book. Atomic Habits was actually one of the first books that I read and kind of got me into reading. So it has a special place in my heart. Great read, and there's very actionable and valuable information in that book. And I highly recommend you give it a try. You probably heard of it. It's honestly one of the most famous self-help / productivity books in the entire world. So on the topic of habit stacking, and more broadly speaking, habits, I truly believe that us humans are creatures of habit. And what do I mean by that? We, you and I, and everyone that you know and everyone that I know, thrives in repetitive, consistent, and stable conditions. And an easy and convenient way for you and I to create stable conditions is through repetition and habit formation. So doing things consistently over the span of a long duration of time. That's what a habit is, essentially. You're forming a routine of doing a certain action. And I want to get into a little bit about my routines and habits that I think set myself up for a great deal of success. So the concept of habit stacking, in very simple terms, if I can just quickly describe it to you, is to take an existing thing that you already do on a daily basis and injecting another habit that you would like to do consistently on a daily basis. You put it on the tail end of the habit that you already do. So I'll give you an example for myself. I shower every single morning, and obviously I brush my teeth every single morning. Those are habits that I do, and they, no questions asked, they happen every single day. And I can utilize that consistency and stability to my advantage. So what I ended up doing about 1.5 years, 2 years ago was I saw the fact that I do this thing every day, shower, and I asked myself, okay, what would I like to anchor to that habit that I already do every day? And my choice of habit was to make my bed every single day. I have now anchored the action of making my bed to the action of showering. So what my day looks like every single day without fail. I haven't failed this in more than 1 year because I habit stacked it. I shower, and immediately after showering, I dry myself, obviously, and I walk straight to my bed, and I make the bed every single morning without fail. It is autopilot for me. It's completely autopilot. I don't even think about it. Shower, make the bed. I have stacked making the bed onto the concept of showering. And in my mind, it's lumped into one thing. It's one less thing to think about, and I accomplish something that I really want to accomplish on a daily basis, making my bed. That is one example of habit stacking that I incorporate in my life. Another habit stacking that's on the opposite end of my days, my night, is I have built up a natural routine of journaling every single night. It wasn't too difficult for me because I saw a lot of benefit in it. So I found myself journaling every single night. It just so happened. It became a solidified, stable routine. And I noticed that, and I was like, okay, what can I add to this? Because when you have stable habits in your life consistently, look at them as gold mines. They are essentially anchor points to achieve another habit. So I want you to think about, in your life right now, maybe even pause the video, think about what things that you do every single day without fail. And then subsequently ask yourself the question, what can I add to that thing that I already do in order to be doubly beneficial? How could I get 2 for 1 out of that? So as I was saying, I end up journaling every single day anyway. So the habit that I stacked onto it was reading. I read every single night right before I journal. That's a habit stack for me. Something that I was already going to do, regardless of the situation, journaling. I now cannot journal without reading before. So I've stacked them together, and I accomplished 2 for the price of 1, essentially. It doesn't require any extra brain power. I know when I get into bed, I have 2 things to do: read and journal. And it's just autopilot for me right now, and it's fantastic. This is the beautiful concept of habit stacking, and I'm so glad that I learned it in the book Atomic Habits, and it's truly provided a lot of value to me, and hopefully I can bestow some of that value onto you. It's honestly awesome. It's so awesome because I know for a fact there are some things that you do in your daily life on a consistent basis, whether that be brushing your teeth, making breakfast at a certain time, showering, reading, even negative habits. For example, like if you binge Netflix at the same exact time every single day, like let's say it's 7 p.m. you binge Netflix, you could stack a positive habit onto that negative habit to kind of, I guess, counteract it a little bit. So for example, if you watch Netflix every day at 7 p.m., you could, for example, read a couple pages of a book before you watch your Netflix. If you do that every single day, you stack that habit. Or like you could clean your washroom every single day right before you watch the Netflix, right? If you have an issue with keeping your washroom clean, you can anchor it to something that you already do every single day. It's a beautiful thing, and it really works because we are creatures of habit. We really thrive under the conditions of certainty and consistency and repetition. Our brain loves to habituate to certain tasks, and if you can habituate a multitude of tasks over a large span of time, you can essentially accomplish so many things in your life whilst giving it minimal energy. And that's kind of what my whole shtick is about. I want to be as hyper efficient as possible, not in a try hard way, not in an annoying way. I just want to be hyper efficient so that I can accomplish the things that I want to accomplish. And habit stacking allows me truly to become more efficient. I exert less energy thinking about certain things that I have to do. It's a beautiful thing. Last thing, it's not really habit stacking necessarily, it's just a habit that I want to discuss. I've gotten into a habit of waking up and listening to classical music. And what that does is it gives my brain a trigger point. It knows that when I hear classical music, it's the morning time, and I only listen to classical music in the morning time. So it primes my brain to hear the music and start to wake up. It's a very cool thing, actually. And I do that at night as well. I listen to jazz music at night. And when my brain hears the jazz music, it cues it to get into a sleepier mode. And it really works for me. It gives me sort of anchor points to anchor my mindset. It's very interesting, actually, and I would implore you to try it. Maybe not necessarily with classical or jazz. I just find that classical music gets me going. It gets my brain turning. It gets me thinking. It gets me alert. Certain types of classical, and then certain types of jazz, like on the slower end, gets me a little bit more mellow, a little bit more sleepy, a little bit more, melodically induced. And I appreciate that, and my brain appreciates that. It links it. It's one less thing to think about. It's kind of an autopilot for your brain, saying like, it's an instruction manual. The classical music is instructing my brain to wake up. The jazz is instructing my brain to go to sleep. And it works. It really works. And yeah, I'm not telling you what to do, but it freaking works for me. And if you want to give it a try, it's as simple as pulling up your Spotify and playing classical music every single day in the morning. Do it for a week or two, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Your brain will start to associate that sort of tonality of music to a certain brain pattern. For example, if you hear your alarm go off, your adrenaline will start to rush, and you'll get like some anxiety, and you'll become alert. Because your brain has formed a trigger pathway that associates that certain alert to being awoken from sleep. And awaking from sleep, what happens is you get an adrenaline rush. That's essentially how you wake up. Like adrenaline floods your system and you wake up. So you're kind of reenacting that in a sense, because your brain is only used to hearing that sound in the morning. So if you play it at like 4 p.m., your brain will kind of react in a similar way because it's conditioned. Same exact thing with classical music. I am conditioning my brain to act a certain way in the mornings and then at night. It just helps facilitate things on my end, and I think it could help on your end as well. All right, that's it. I'm having a lot of fun with these videos still, and I'm going to keep it going. Yeah, I really appreciate you sticking around, and I really appreciate you watching, and I want to thank you for sharing. Peace.